Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm your friend Vipin Kumar Ot. I'm a PhD student here in Poland. So today I'm going to let you know what are the requirements for the United Kingdom's visit visa and what we have to do and what we have to avoid while filling up our form, while submitting our documents, and some other necessary requirements like the bank statement and also some informative information I'll give you, and I'll take you through whole form like step by step, and also I'll share the links for submitting the form, for all the requirements, and also for the document which I'll show you in my video. So without wasting more time, we will move to our screen.
So let's move to this official website of the United Kingdom's visit visa. So this is the website which I'll share on this description, and let's go. Here we will have some, guidelines how to apply and also the fees structure of the visa. Here I suggest you to apply for 6 months of visa if you're applying for the first time, and if you are applying for the second time, even like if you already had this visitor visa earlier, it's better to apply for 6 months again. And this will be the fees, like it in total like 120 euros. And then after, like if you are having two times this visitor visa for 6 months each, then you can apply for 2 years and then 5 years and 10 years like this. And from here we can click this button and go to the form directly. But before that, I want to let you know, like there is some information, important information you must read before applying. And also these are the documents which are necessary, uh, should be within your applications. And I'll talk about this later. But first, let's click this button. Okay, when you open this link, then you will see like it will ask you about the language, on what language you want to fill out your form, and also you want to be get interviewed if you are in suppose you are applying from Asia, so obviously you have to go for some embassy interview. And if you are applying from EU countries like Poland, etc., so then you don't have to go for any visa interview, but you have to submit your application documents online on any relevant consultancy. I'll talk about it later. And so let's click this English, and then they will ask you which country. Here you will mention, like for me, I'm mentioning Poland, and then we will click it and it will show some options. So okay, let's move to the application form which I already filled out, like I submitted and I got my visa already. Okay, so after finishing your application on the online portal, you will get this kind of printed form of your full application document. And here you will have a QR code with your application number, and these kind of information you will get after finishing your application. As I said, it's 120 euros for this application fee. Okay, at the start of this application, they like your contact language will be English, whatever you prefer. And then you will have to give your personal information like your email address, and then you have to select the visa type. And like if you are traveling with a group of people, then you have to mention it and all their informations. Otherwise, you have to say no. And will you be traveling to the UK with someone who is not your like spouse, partner, etc.? Obviously, if you're not, then you have to say no. And visa type, again, it's tourist. Okay, this is the important part. Here, you have to give the details like your planned trip. It should be your planned trip, like on the first day what you will do, where you will go, on third day what do you will do, on 10th day what you will do. So like I mentioned here, from day 1 to day 3, from this date to this date, I'll explore this etc. And yeah, so you have to give your full plan of traveling to the UK, and just be specific, and be, give exact information what is required to you, and then date you plan to arrive at the UK. So here you must give a gap of like 1.5 month while submitting your application, and in between you're traveling, like it should be one to like 1.5 month or 2 months of gap. So because most of the time embassies take 3 weeks to to give you final outcome, or sometimes they take longer, that's why. And it's not necessary to give like actual dates. You can go on some other date after getting your visa. Yeah, then again they will ask your personal information, your given name, your first name and middle name, and then family name, the last name. And if you had some other names, you have to say yes or no, and then your personal email address. What I suggest, like it should be your employer or academic email address. Don't use Gmail address as corresponding email address. And if you have some other email addresses, you can mention them as well. And then you have to mention your, like by which email address you want to get contacted, and again your other email addresses, etc. And then your gender, you male or female or whatever, then you have to mention here, and your marital status, like relationship status, if you are single, married, divorced, widowed, whatever. And then country of nationality. And okay, and again at the bottom in every page, on every page you will see your application number as well. Then your country of birth, place of birth, and date of birth. And if you have your valid nationality, like national identity document or card, we can say. So you have to say yes, and your number, card number, and the issuing country, and date of issue, and also expiry date here. Then if you are having some dual nationalities, so you have to mention them in this section as well. Again, you have to write your current address here. So if you are a university student, you must give your university's name and dormitory number, apartment number, room number, and province, and city postal code, and country. And again, if your address is similar, so you have to say yes, like correspondence address, and like for how long you are living here on this address. So you have to mention like 1.5 year, 2 years, 3 years, etc. And then, is it your home or not? Obviously no, it's a dormitory, so you will say other. If someone is having their own house, they will mention this. This house belongs to me, like I am the owner of this house. Otherwise you have to mention like I'm living in a dormitory owned by this university. And then provide your phone number. Here you will, I suggest to give your mobile number which you are using. So let's move. Yeah, here you have to say yes. Again, they will ask you addresses outside of EU, and countries like America, Australia, and some Canada. So yes, as I lived in Malaysia as a student, so I give my information here. And also you have to give your information about the addresses if you lived in some other country, and from when to when. And again, like other addresses, like how I can say, maybe you can give your home address from your home country, and the date of stay after this address. And then here you will give your passport details like your passport number, country of issue, and issue date, expiry date, and then some dependent details. Okay, if someone is relying on you or you are relying on someone, you have to give us information here. Otherwise, you have to say no. Like if you are supporting yourself and you are paying your money for this trip, so you have to mention no here. Then your parent details, like first you will give your father's name, surname, date of birth, country, and have the same nationality. Yes, of course, you have to say this. And then your mother's details, name, surname, etc. Okay, so here you have to mention your employment status. Okay, if you have ever been doing any job, so you have to mention all the details there, and also your current status. If you are a student, you have to just say I'm a student, and there will be a list of some jobs and organizations through which you have to select if you did any kind of job from there. Otherwise, you have to write like this. Then, okay, they will ask about your monthly income and expenditures. So, what savings currently you are having? So, in like this Great Britain pounds, I mentioned this amount. And be careful if you are mentioning this amount, your bank statement should be higher than this or the similar, but not lower than this when you are submitting your application documents. And your monthly expenditures, I mentioned it in Polish zloty because it's a Polish currency in Poland. And then, is anyone is going to pay for your travel cost? Yeah, obviously, if you are paying by yourself, say no. If you have your family members, say anyone, brother, sister, father, uncle, aunt, anyone, then you have to, mention your information here. And then accommodation details in the UK. So what I suggest to you that before filling out your form, you must do the reservations from the booking.com, and you can do it with the like without paying any money while selecting those kind of dormitories or hotels which have these free cancellation options. So you have to be specific and be relevant to your tour plan, what you mentioned earlier, what I showed you earlier in like 2-3 pages before. So after that, they will ask about your travel history. Like, have you ever traveled to the UK in last 10 years? If you traveled, you have to mention your details. If no, just say no. Then they will ask you any other country have you ever been? Like, have you like got your visa refused or some other problems you faced while entering the border or something like this? So you have to mention those information. Otherwise, no. Then travel history about like other than the UK in some other countries like from Australia, Canada, New Zealand, USA, the United States of America, Switzerland, and some European Economic Area. They do not include travel to the UK. Okay, so you don't have to include any country from here, but okay, from here you can mention, like I mentioned here once, is I traveled to the United States of America for study purposes. Here, yes, and then then what you have to give the reason of your stay there and when like you date of visit and for how long you stayed there. And again, they will ask you like any second country you travel to, except EU countries and these countries. Then you have to give your other information like I traveled to Malaysia for study on this year, and then I left on this year. So yeah, other history like within these other, if you face some problems relevant to, legal issues. So you have to mention, otherwise, no, 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 and accept the, agreements and guidelines, guidances, whatever you will see the options in your online application portal. Then again, it will ask you some, convictions and other penalties. Just you have to say no, no, no. If you ever had any kind of issues relevant to these things, so you have to mention. Don't hide anything if you ever had been to any conviction things. Then extra information, you can, you can write your extra information like extra travel history, like my European travel history. I wrote it. I visited around 14 countries in European Union. So these 14 countries are mentioned here. And also I separately uploaded a document named as travel history, like this. So you can make your document like this, and like my world travel history other than EU countries, you can mention here name of the country, date of the entry to date of the exit, and then for how many times you travel to other countries like from EU. Like I traveled to Italy for two, now currently for more times, and some other countries you can mention them. And don't forget to mention each and every date. Okay, let's go back to this form. Then, if if you are applying from, as I said earlier, from Asian countries like India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and some other countries, then you have to go for a visa interview. Then you can give your choice of language. And here, okay, see, I'm living in Poland, so what permission is I got to stay here? Obviously, I'm having a temporary visa and also a temporary residency card. And yeah, then you have to give your expiry date of the card. And then these documents are the mandatory documents, like your travel document and evidence of funds. Okay, I'll show you that in the document later, like what specific documents and required documents you must have to submit. Then you will do the payment from credit card or from bank. You can do it easily, and it will cost you around 120 euros. And then at the end, you have to accept everything and declaration. So this will be your form. You will finish and you will get it. So after finishing your form, in this website, you will get an option at the end, like suppose if you're applying from Poland, then they will show their, consulting consultancy who is handling the visa applications from Poland. And then you have to click that option, and you will go to this kind of website, like in Poland, TLS contact, or we can say TLS consult. They are handling the visa applications in Warsaw and Warszawa in Polish. And then you can log into your account from here. You can log in from here. When at the end you will get this option. Then what you have to do, you have to submit, upload your documents. You can scan your documents using your mobile phone. The best software to do is CSCAM scanner. So now let's move to the most important thing of this video, like what are the important documents. So we will go to this, and okay, so these are the most important documents. Okay, for your passport, it must have validity of 1 year plus. You must must not apply if you are having your passport's validity like 8 months, 7 months, or 9 months, because your visa will be get rejected at the moment. And also, if you have some other visa stickers or visa stamps on your even current passport or previous passports, you have to scan them and also have to upload them as well. Then your resident card, like temporary residency or the permanent residency card. This must be valid for more than 6 months. Most important thing. And then your bank statement with full history, acceptable is 6 months as well with the bank letter. And please keep in mind, like you have to submit your every document in English language. If it's in some other languages, then you have to go for translation from any attorney, from any lawyer or any firm. Like my bank statement was in Polish, so I went for this translation from an attorney, and I uploaded the original document plus the translation document and also the full bank history, which I downloaded from official website of my bank. And yeah, what I suggest you, your bank statement must be, above 4,500 Great Britain pounds. It's better to show a strong bank statement. But, for that, you also have to reflect like how you have this money, how this money is in your account. Like if you are a student, then obviously you are getting some scholarship and also some external fellowship. So you also have to give your documents. I'll tell you later. Then your current accommodation confirmation letter. So this is also must document. Like if you are a student and living in any dormitory, you must get this letter from the authorities of the dormitory and ask them to give it in your English. Like as I said, every document must be in English. Then, as I told you in the form, like you have to do the hotel reservations and you have to make a PDF, separate PDF for that, and combine all the merge all the reservations in one PDF file. Then your university or employment documents. Okay, so if you are a student, then you have to ask your institution to issue you the student status certificate, which will show like you are currently a student in this semester, like semester 3, semester 4, and you are studying in this degree program in this department, and for how long you will be here, and also how much basic scholarship you are getting from the university, and then the scholarship letter is separate. It will show like you are getting some external fellowships, like I'm getting some external fellowships. So that's how I reflected my bank statement, like I justified my bank statement that this amount is in my account is my own money. I haven't borrowed from anyone, like it's not someone else money. So yeah, these documents will reflect, will verify your bank statement as well. Because if you cannot verify your bank statement, then obviously they will reject your visa. I know a few cases, like a few of my friends, they couldn't do this thing and they got the rejection and they didn't submit it the full history or 6 months of bank history, bank statements history, and they only submitted the bank letter, so that's why they got rejection. So don't do this mistake, please. And then full travel history that I showed you the document, you can you can make this kind of document and submit it. And then family registration certificate. This certificate you can get from your national authorities, like national identity card issuing authorities, and then CV. Yeah, this document is also mandatory. People think like CV is not mandatory, but it's mandatory because it shows what you are currently doing and what you have done in your previous years. So it's better to give detailed CV. So yes, guys, these are the important documents, and we have been to like we have gone through this application procedure. You will get the links in the description about how you can apply, and this filled form, and this slide as well, so that it can help you how to, like, I hope it will help you to fill out your visa application easily and to make your documents ready easily, and I wish you will get your visa so quickly. You don't have to pay extra money to any kind of agents or something like this. So you can do it by yourself. And please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe my channel, as I'm going to, post some vlogs, travel vlogs from United Kingdom next month, hopefully, and we will meet on those vlogs. So bye bye. Thank you, everyone.